We've got a lot of information to go over in this video. You'll be able to play Overwatch for free on the PlayStation 4 tomorrow. It'll be seeing a free weekend. H1Z1 has been released on the PlayStation 4, and while it has had a gigantic launch, a lot of people have tried to play the game. It also had some severe login issues. The reviews for the latest PlayStation 4 exclusive in Detroit Become Human are out, and they are pretty positive. Not quite as good as God of War, but not every game can be of that tier. Detroit is doing pretty well for itself, so that's exciting. Battlefield 5 was of course revealed yesterday, and one of the more interesting pieces of information is the fact that the game will not have a premium pass. How about that? More on that in a little bit, and Sony might be considering a PlayStation Classic console. That could be pretty exciting as well. First, let's talk about Overwatch. It will be having a free weekend from May 25th, which is tomorrow, until May 28th, so you can try out the game yourself. Overwatch has been a multiplayer shooter with a lot of longevity. It's a hero-style FPS, so it does have that element going on for it. We've seen a lot of hero-style games this generation. Namely, it was more suited in the MOBA route, but we've seen it trickle over into the FPS genre as well, and Overwatch has been a pretty solid multiplayer game this generation. It released all the way back in 2016, and it's still being played considerably to this day. Blizzard, of course, are masters at keeping a game lasting for a very long time. I mean, you look at World of Warcraft, of course, that's an MMO, so a little bit different, but they're pulling off the same with Overwatch. You can try out the free weekend, and the game also is seeing a pretty deep discount, so that's something to look at as well. And generally, you can pick up the game for around $30. That's been the basement price. If you're lucky, you can find physical copies for around $20, so it's not that expensive, but if you're not yet completely sold, you'll be able to play it free tomorrow until the 28th.
I'm getting good at this. Get back! There's more where that came from. Turning defense into offense.
Incoming!
Take some armor. Keep the pressure on. We can't let up now. I am Brigitte Lindholm, squire to Reinhard Wilhelm. And I am a very...
Speaking of free, H1Z1 is a free-to-play Battle Royale title that has just been released on the PlayStation 4, and being a Battle Royale game and being a free-to-play game, it was pretty easy to see that there were going to be a lot of players trying to jump in the title, 1.5 million players to be exact. Developer Daybreak has announced that. However, the game has also seen a lot of login issues. Now, it is an open beta, so it's not as big of a deal, but the official H1Z1 Twitter account put out this. A huge thank you to the 1.5 million of you who have joined us in the arena since the H1Z1 open beta launched on PS4 yesterday. We're continuing to work to resolve login and purchase issues and are committed to bring you a pure Battle Royale experience. Now, typically, this is a reason to make a gigantic fuss over, but again, being the fact it is a free-to-play title, being the fact it is day one, and the fact that it is still labeled as an open beta title, you can forgive them a little bit, but there seems to be huge demand in playing H1Z1, and it's easy to see why this Battle Royale genre is just taking off like wildfire, and just putting out a Battle Royale game is going to entice people to at least give it a chance. Now, the exact quality of the game obviously still has to be up to par, or else gamers are just gonna stick with Fortnite and PUBG on other platforms. Hopefully, the issues are remedied at some point, and hopefully it becomes a very capable Battle Royale experience. Next up, Detroit Become Human is the latest PlayStation 4 exclusive. It was developed by Quantic Dreams, the guys that also did Heavy Rain and Fahrenheit Indigo Prophecy. They also did the less than stellar Beyond Two Souls. Detroit Become Human is their latest games. The reviews are out, and currently the game is sitting at an 80 on Metacritic, which, while it isn't the 94 or 95 that God of War has, an 80 is still a very respectable score, especially considering that Quantic Dreams titles are very controversial, and they seem to be more love or hate kind of games. The fact it does have an 80 80, that is a good sign to me. DualShockers have the game at a 90, Games Radar have it at a 90, WCCF Tech gave it an 85, IGN gave it an 8 flat, PlayStation Lifestyle gave it an 85, so good reviews all around. It does peter out and there are a couple of 5s and 6s and even a couple of 4s in there, so maybe this will be a game that's better off waiting for a sale, but at the same time, if you're into these very story-driven experiences, if you've liked the Quantic Dreams titles in the past, this might be another title to check out on day one, and it will be releasing tomorrow. And while yes, the bar has been raised so high for PlayStation 4 exclusives with games like God of War, Uncharted 4, Horizon Zero Dawn, it's foolish to think that every game is gonna reach that level. The basement quality level of a PlayStation 4 exclusive is that of Detroit Become Human. Can you really complain about that? An 80 is still a very good Metacritic score, and it's good to see that Detroit is getting some positive recognition, as this was a game I was worried that was gonna get swept under the radar, because especially again, I've seen it in so many comments that you guys are like, I'm still busy with God of War, I'm replaying that. Detroit was a game that really had potential to be a complete afterthought, but it looks like it is getting some positive attention, so that's always very good.
The consequences will be disastrous.
My name is Kara. This is where it all began. The world's forge. And it will all end.
You do the housework, the washing, you cook the meals, and you take care of Alice.
My name is Connor. I'm the android sent by CyberLife. The company has allocated a specialized model to assist investigators.
My name is Marcus. Just like you, I was a slave.
Thank you, Marcus.
Then I chose to open my eyes, to take back my freedom, and decide who I wanted to be. Now I have come to tell you that you can be your own masters. I've come to tell you that you don't have to obey them anymore.
Get away!
Fight Jericho!
I know someone who can help you.
Next up, Battlefield 5 saw its official reveal yesterday. The game is set in World War II. A little bit ridiculous of a concept with the main character and whatnot, but I'm not going to get into that controversy right now. How about some positive news? It was confirmed that Battlefield 5 will not have a premium pass. The DLC and extra maps will be free. That is insane to me. That is actually EA doing something positive when they talk about microtransactions and things like that. We saw the debacle that was Star Wars Battlefront 2. I was worried that something similar was going to happen, but it looks like they've at least learned from their mistakes, because the fact of the matter is everything that went on with Battlefront 2 and all of the negative media that game had, some people that think any publicity is good publicity, that game showed that any publicity is absolutely not good publicity. That game was a commercial flop, and to this day, it's just mind-boggling to me that EA could ruin a potential absolute commercial juggernaut that was handed to them on a silver platter. But yeah, that's in the past, no need to complain about that. Battlefield 5, however, will not have a premium pass. New maps will be free. However, it does look like the game will have cosmetic microtransactions, but that's absolutely fine. If you want to delve into that, if you're super into the experience, fine. By all means, let us buy cosmetic things, but this isn't going to really impact the gameplay, and that's so great to see. Good to see a publisher like EA going this route, and this is just a far cry from what they did with Battlefront 2, and I can't reiterate the fact how great this is. Now, this is doubly paramount, because imagine if EA actually did include a lot of loot boxes, a lot of DLC content. Well, this game was going to absolutely get murdered by Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. That's just the facts. As much as it seems like the core audience is against Black Ops 4, that game is going to be massive. I guarantee you that. And BF5 is going to have a hard time competing with it, and then you throw RDR 2 as well. We've got some gaming juggernauts coming out this fall, and the fact that Battlefield 5 won't have a premium pass, the fact that they are putting towards so much goodwill towards gamers, I could see this game actually gaining a lot of traction, as it seemed like for a little while Battlefield was falling off a little bit. BF5, I sense some potential here, so hopefully it turns out well. Finally, rumors are circulating that Sony might be considering a PlayStation Classic, similar to what Nintendo did with the NES Classic as well as the SNES Classic editions. Those have sold very well, and in a recent meeting, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO John Codera said this, quote, "Our company is always digging up past assets. I think there are various ways to do a classic console. There have been discussions happening within the company on what kind of ways are there." Now, I love the PlayStation 1, but let's be real for a second. The visuals on the PlayStation 1 haven't aged all too well, but then again, the NES Classic and the SNES Classic, they weren't visual juggernauts either. And really, the people that the PlayStation Classic would be aimed towards are those that are going to be very nostalgic towards it, and visuals aren't going to be a big deal on that end. And considering the incredible library the PlayStation 1 has had, seeing those games bundled on one platform, there is a lot of potential with that. If it's priced accordingly, I could see that selling very well. So that is going to conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts on everything in the comment section down below. Again, Overwatch will be seeing a free weekend starting tomorrow, and that'll be running until May 28th. Solid multiplayer first-person shooter to check out, and you can get the game relatively cheap these days. When I say cheap, I do mean like $20 to $30, which for a game that's 2 years old, maybe that's still a little expensive. A game that isn't expensive is H1Z1 because it's absolutely free to play, but it has been seeing some issues as of late, but it's still an open beta. Hopefully that experience gets better and more people are jumping on. It has already hit 1.5 million players, so jump on that when you can and when it's working. The reviews of Detroit Become Human are coming in. Currently it's sitting at an 80 on Metacritic. That's a pretty solid score. While it's not of the top tier PlayStation 4 exclusives at its own right, looks to be a pretty good game. Might be one that is best to wait for a sale on, but if you're super into story-driven experiences, if you've liked the Quantic Dreams experiences in the past, maybe it's one to buy on day one. Battlefield 5 will not have a premium pass. Maps are going to be absolutely free. There does look to be cosmetic microtransactions, but I take that very positively, especially when you take a look at a publisher like EA. This is a gigantic step in the right direction, and let us know what you think about the possibility of a PlayStation Classic. Is this something you're interested in? What games would you like to be included on a platform like this? And what's the highest price you'd pay for a potential PlayStation Classic? Sound off with your thoughts on everything in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.